Welcome back to the gavel. A bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution to provide for the financial and administrative autonomy of local government councils has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, which was sponsored by Representative Manu Soro, also seeks uniformity of tenure for the local governments across the country. Now, while this may sound like progress, the biggest hurdle is getting the state assemblies to accept this bill when it is passed, because for some reason it was rejected by a majority of the states in 2018. Now, that's part of our next report, which will also look at another concern for lawmakers in the Green Chamber, which is the life-endangering practices of food vendors who tenderize meat with paracetamol and wash cassava with bleach.
Local government, the closest to the people and the third tier of government, seems to have been relegated to the background, despite being backed by the Constitution. State governments have been accused of dissolving local government administrations or refusing to conduct elections for them, choosing instead to install caretaker committees. At the final plenary of the week in the House of Representatives, one of the bills up for second reading sought to restore the autonomy of local governments and ensure uniform tenure for them across the country.
The present reality is at great variance with the original provisions of the Constitution. Administratively, a local government lacks independence as the state government determines their staff recruitment, postings, and discipline.
As for me,
the Deputy Speaker presiding did not think a debate is necessary since it's a constitutional matter, and considering that 27 states in 2018 rejected the clause for local government autonomy during the constitution amendment process by the National Assembly.
My appeal is a constitutional matter. We still require the said assemblies. It's very important. And so I want to appeal on all of us and appeal to those who may possibly hear the words that may not be sounding so good into their head, that the intention of the bill is to bring good governance across the country. Those in favor of
the bill scaled second reading and was referred to the Committee on Constitution Review.
Let's have it.
A matter of urgent public importance drawing the attention of lawmakers to some life-endangering food-related practices in Osun State was also raised.
The House notes with dismay the revelation by Osun State government officials that some caterers and food vendors in the state have been using paracetamol and bleach to tenderize meat and processed cassava. The House is also aware that high dosage of paracetamol come from with toxicity that may lead to kidney and renal failures, while the use of bleach to process cassava for garri is simply food poisoning. The House also is concerned about the extent of damage this criminal act has had on vital organs of the consumers, which include kidney, liver, heart, and small intestine. The House is also worried that such illicit acts in Osun State and other states may have been going on for years without the relevant government agencies doing much to stem it and bring the culprits to book to serve as deterrents to others. Disturbed that such food vendors and caterers are deliberately and viciously destroying their consumers by employing such selfish and unhealthy practice to prepare food. The House resolved to mandate NAFDAC and other relevant bodies to urgently embark on widespread sensitization and public awareness against the consumption of food tenderized and processed with bleach and paracetamol.
Reports in recent times have revealed that food vendors employ dangerous methods to conserve gas or kerosene for profit maximization, thereby putting human lives in danger. The Committee on Health was further directed by the House to interface with the National Agency for Foods, Drugs Administration and Control to sensitize the public and effect arrests where necessary.
For our final report, let's take you through some other motions which were raised in both chambers of the National Assembly. Take a listen.
The Senate Committee on Customs, Excise and Tariff on Tuesday presented the 2020 budget proposal report of 238.15 billion naira for the Nigerian Customs Service. Some lawmakers complained that the report was not thorough enough for the Senate to pass the budget. They expressed dissatisfaction with the presentation and raised concerns regarding certain areas they found to be lacking in details. After deliberations, the Senate passed the budget, with the Senate President sending a strong message to MDAs and parastatals.
What we understand is that the 7% cost of collection accruing to the Nigerian custom and their 2% VAT shares of the Nigerian Customs Service. That is from where the Nigerian Customs should defray their expenditure from, including capital expenditure and the recurrent expenditure. But what do we have here? It shows that aside the 7% cost of collection, the 2% share of VAT shares of Nigerian Customs is still collecting money from the Federation account.
When they have 7% of what they collect as money for them to spend, and they are also looking at the direction of the Federation account, I think that is an area that we need to look at very seriously. Mr. President, just like somebody pointed out, that is Gabriel Suswan pointed out, these are the areas that the committee ordinarily supposed to have looked at very carefully before presenting this report today.
From those of our colleagues who had served in the customs, I think we know that there is improvement in the customs service today. So I think what is crucial, like the Senate leader said, is for us to be up to date and prompt with our oversight. All those expenditures that are expected to be done, we should be able to understand how they are done and when they are done.
Establishment Bill 2020.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Thursday named a 57-member Constitution Review Committee. The committee is chaired by the Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omo Agege, and comprises one senator from the 36 states and 2 from each of the 6 geopolitical zones. It will also comprise the principal officers of the Senate, who will further serve as members of the steering committee. Senator Lawan charged the committee to engage the public and ensure that diverse views are considered during the review process.
You will engage not only members of the National Assembly and other statutory bodies like INEC, civil society groups, but Nigerians are interested in the way and manner we do our activities here. Nigerians definitely have interest in the constitutional review that the National Assembly will back upon. There are several issues that Nigerians feel very strongly about. The Constitutional Review Committee is supposed to be a platform where such issues could be brought and where those who are interested should ensure that they make every possible effort, including presentations, for their views to be considered. We as a National Assembly, particularly the Senate, we want to have a very stable country. We want to have a country that gives every citizen the opportunity to actualize his or her dream. We want to have a security that is enhanced and an economy that works for everyone. Stability of the polity is important. We have to have a country before we run for elections or indeed undertake any activity.
In the House of Representatives, a motion calling for investigation into the administration of donor-assisted funds for agricultural projects was moved by Representative Awaji Abiante. He expressed worry that over the years, the federal government has been partnering and acquiring loans and grants from donor agencies such as the World Bank, the African Development Bank, the United Nations, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the International Development Agency, to mention a few, with a view to improving agricultural production in the country. But there has been no significant improvement in the sector.
The House is also aware that over the years, over $1 billion of donors' funds
have been spent on various agricultural projects in Nigeria by the 3 tiers of government. We are further aware that since 1985, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, had 11 financed agricultural projects in the country with about $509.62 million, while several millions of dollars have also been committed to the implementation of FADAMA project by the World Bank since 1993. The House is worried that despite the laudable objectives of these agricultural projects and the humongous financial contributions of the international donors, such as the World Bank, the International Development Agency, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the African Development Bank, over many years, the country is still grappling with the problem of food sufficiency and farmers' prosperity.
The House resolved to mandate the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services to investigate the administration and performance of all donor-funding agricultural projects, with a view to unearthing the problems associated with its inability to achieve its set objectives, and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Thanks for watching. That's The Gavel. Send feedback to thegavel@channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Bye.